Facebook now too. Just a second. All right. So, hi everyone on Facebook and Instagram. It is the Bride Candy. We are a floral and design studio that is based in Miami, Florida, and we are real life partners and also business partners, and that's why we're talking today about how to work with your partner during quarantine. You know, we live together, we work together, we see each other all the time. So of course it's kind of easy to go just a little bit crazy. And our special guests today are Anuel and Vanessa, who are our friends, who are photographers, who are also partners. So, hey guys. It's awesome that you guys joined us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for inviting us.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, I guess we should just go ahead and start with, you know, the thing that's most important, which is, you know, it's Wine Wedding Tuesday. What is everybody drinking?
Well, I'm drinking Prosecco. I'm getting my Prosecco on here, Del Mar. And I know,
I'm cheating.
I'll
have a Guinness.
He has the Guinness.
Nice. We are drinking some kind of red wine. What did you open?
Merlot. This is Merlot.
Oh, Merlot.
Yes.
Very nice. See, right there.
Merlot is what I drank when. Merlot's what I drink when I asked Jerry's parents for the information to propose. So it's a nice little cute. Yeah, because I couldn't do it completely sober, so.
Yeah. So, you know, our audience knows a little bit about us because we've gone live a few times, but let's start talking about you. Can you tell us what is it that you do and, you know, just a little bit about what your experience is?
Well, we are Destination Wedding Photographers. Basically, we went to our destination for 14 years, right?
Yeah.
We started our company together. 2016 in New York. We lived in New York at that time before we moved. And we've been doing it ever since. We actually have our own separate company, but we also do our own wedding together, where we have a special package for our couples who work together as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
We're divorced professionally.
We're professionally divorced, then we get back together.
How long have you guys been together?
Oof.
Officially 2003. 17 years.
Wow.
18 unofficially.
Wow. So let's hear it. What is the love story?
Well, we have, it's a funny thing. I feel like we were always said we were brought together by fate because we actually met each other when I was really young. I was about maybe 14 or 13, and I was working at a Blockbuster close to my house. And he was the guy who gave me movies and gave me, like, you know, the new releases and stuff. And I ended up meeting him again a couple years later when I was 17. And that's when, you know, when we actually kind of became friends. And he was living in New York. I was living back in Puerto Rico. So we had like a long distance thing going on for a while. Yes, for about 2 years, 3 years. Right?
Yeah, she'll never admit it, but she was checking me out when she was 13, 14.
He always says that.
Yeah.
I don't know. but yeah, that's how we got together again. We met each other again, and I was super excited to see him. And I went to hug him, and I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm seeing you again after so many years." And then we became friends, and the rest is history because we've been together ever since.
Wow.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. Oh my gosh. That puts our like almost 4 years.
Know, like,
right out of the water.
Yours, it's not about the years, it's about the quality.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that. So, you know, what made you decide to like? Obviously, there's a love and an attraction there, but what made you decide to like start working together?
You and me. Okay. Even before we got together, we were both kind of like in the creative type of world. I mean, wanted to be. I wanted to study acting, theater, which I did, some TV production, and she wanted to study communications and all that. So we were both already attracted to the whole, I don't know, art world, creative world. You want to take it from there?
Yeah. So I actually went to live in New York to be with him and to do my internship in marketing because I had actually just finished my bachelor's and I was studying commercial photography. And I got him his first camera and I got into it with him taking pictures and stuff. And I was like, you know, like I always love to take pictures, but I actually learned how to do like film photography with him and to see things differently than the things out there after photos. And I just decided one day, like, you know, we should start a business. Like, we should put our stuff on Craigslist because back then it was the only thing that you had. It was
we actually started in Craigslist.
So we actually started our
first clients, the first couple of clients were from Craigslist.
Yeah. And from there, the first wedding, like, I don't know, it was like a random wedding. We were actually working for like another studio or something. It was like a subcontracted thing. But it was an awesome experience because we actually learned, you know, about like actually being in a wedding and doing an event and like all the stuff that goes into it.
We didn't learn. We stumbled.
Exactly.
They're getting kissed now. Oh, they're doing a toast. We don't know what a toast was. I mean, we're not wedding photographers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was also experience, but it was also eye-opening of how much we need to learn.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and after that, we did a couple of more weddings, and then we actually said, you know what, like, we could actually do this because we really liked it, and we had, like, some things for it, like, people liked their pictures, they were reacting positively, so we're like, oh, maybe you were not that bad, and that's basically what happened.
Yeah. But funny note.
Was it hard in the beginning?
Yes, very hard. Most photographers in just viral in general, most start as an assistant to somebody else. We did it. We just started. We have a wedding this weekend for the first time in our life. We know what wedding. I mean, we know what wedding is, but we know how big an interview was. So we never had experience of learning from somebody else. We learned together with whatever camera we had, whatever light we have that day. We try to figure out. So it was really hard at the beginning.
Yeah, and I think it was you know, a learning curve. And I mean, I like to be. I've always been a bit of like, let's just do it. You know, like let's not think about it too much because if not, then you'll never do it.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's like, well, basically, I think that's how you have to do it because we overthink things. You know, like
yeah.
So yeah, it was hard, but it was totally worth it. Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. For sure.
What were some of the signs at the beginning that it was like, hey, you know, this is gonna work? Right, like we have that kind of work chemistry where this is a good thing.
That first client, that first wedding, which was, she wasn't too happy at the beginning because she hired a company and the company sent us. So she was like, "Well, you guys were here." When we delivered the pictures, we met her in a random street in New York. She was working for a bank. She came down for a minute. Her reaction of getting the pictures that day was priceless. And that day we knew, you know what? This is the first wedding with no experience. And she's crying happily about her pictures. We knew that moment that, you know what? We can do this. I mean, this is something we love doing.
Yeah, I think that from the beginning, I feel like from the beginning, we kind of didn't know it yet, but we really were storytellers. Like we really wanted to not just capture like the traditional things or, you know, the toast and like stand there with your family. We wanted to tell an actual story. We wanted it to be a little bit more about everything else and the people and how people were enjoying the day and the emotions. And I feel that even with that first wedding, even when we were just beginning, we had that sense of this is more important than just the pretty flowers or the pretty venue. You know, it's about more than that.
How was it for you, Chris? What was it that moment for you? When was it that moment for you that you knew?
I was asking that moment actually, but
I mean, I think I kind of know. We actually so very early in our relationship, we actually did events together. We met doing philanthropy. Like I was a gala chair, and Chris was hired as my assistant.
Is Chris getting red? Is he a little red? Do I see a little red, Chris?
And now I'm not the assistant anymore, though. I'm not fiance. No,
but we had a chemistry there. Like, I mean,
we had a chemistry.
also,
Very-
but also like
very
you know,
different.
working together. It worked.
But I think in the early on, it was very apparent. We were very different, but we have the same, what was it? Not quality, the same like values. And then we also were big on events, like which was us together. Like when we talk about things, it would just work really well. He's very practical, and I'm practical too. But I'm a little bit more about like, experience, and then but both of us together. And then throughout, like before he came onto the Bride Candy, it was very apparent, and people would tell us, like, you guys are amazing together. Were you gonna say something?
Before he came out to the Bride Candy, that was a perfect line. I'm
I
sorry.
love it. That's like,
I'm sorry.
you're such a good seller, man.
Jeremy came to the Bride Candy.
Yes,
He came
I
in.
love
Yeah, he did.
I did.
I mean, he was always part of it. He was always part of the Bride Candy.
Love that.
But it was, he was working for corporate, and most of the, the stuff, the business was, me. And then once it started becoming what it was, and then he, we started, again, like we never not worked with each other. Like he was working his job and I was doing my business, but he was still helping me, and I was also helping him because he was doing events as well. And so everything that we did together, it was like, you kind of think you can't work with your partner because you guys have different jobs, but then me and him would always work together. And it became very apparent, and people would tell us. And then finally, we came to the decision that, like, we did want to work together. He wanted to join the Bride Candy because we're going to get married and we're going to own it together. And we want to live a life together. And then it really became apparent, like, recently when he really did officially join. He left his job. It was in the brunt of my busiest season. And then it was like, it's either sink or flow kind of thing, right? But we really excelled. Not to say that it was perfect, because like I'm busy, I'm in my zone, I'm the artist, this is, and he's coming in very new, but we really just did it, and I think that's just kind of like what I really, really knew, because I always knew, but it really proved it to me. Like we just recently when we joined, and I was just like, wow, like, it was like, we're just going to do it, and we did it, and it was actually really amazing. It's been amazing. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm really lucky. And our situation is a little bit different from yours as well, because, I mean, you guys each kind of have your own arena, right? And then sometimes you work together. Whereas for us, it's like, we get up and we work together every single day. So, it's really interesting to sort of see, I think, when you're talking about like working together, like where the boundaries are. Are there boundaries? Is it just sort of like, is it more of a relay, or is it more of a, this is my universe and this is your universe, or, and so that's been some of the difficult things I feel like, right here at the beginning is,
There's a little bit of trial and error in that.
Yeah.
Every couple should have that already. Not just couple, every team should have that a little bit. I want to say before even getting into it that you mentioned something very, very important, Chris, is that even if you guys have different careers, different paths, the fact that you actually support each other is one of the biggest things that most businesses, if they success or not, if they have that support at home. Because I know photographers, male and females, that don't have the support sometimes from the other part, husband and wife, and it's really hard. So having that support, no matter what Jeremy was doing or not, is amazing. That's a really huge thing in this business.
Yeah, and I think that for like when you're working together, because even though we don't always work together, we do work together in the house. Like we help each other out with our stuff individually. But we also know our strengths. Like I know what he's good at, and he knows what I'm good at. And when we're doing something that he needs me to back him up, I back him up. And when I need him to back me up, he knows who to back me up. I think if you know each other's strengths and you use those things to make yourself better and make them better, that's what takes you forward. Because if you kind of want to do it on your own and not need that help, it's going to be hard because you don't have that complement. And I think that's super important when you're working with someone in a team or, as a couple or whatever situation you're doing.
Hi, Arlene.
This brings you guys closer?
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely. And to be honest, it sounds, I don't know, I don't know. 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 I
I don't know, insensible, it has to. If it doesn't get you guys closer, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, well, because you have to learn to kind of go with each other's flow, and that automatically makes you be closer together, because you start to understand each other better in different levels, not only the professional level, but also the mental level, the heart level. Like, you kind of have all those things in place and in balance, and I feel like that always going to bring you together, because you will get to know each other better, which I think is super important. And communication, because you have to talk to each other about the issues and the work and the bad stuff and the good stuff. It's not only about the pretty stuff, it's also when things get hard, when you have hard days, when you have hard clients, everything kind of brings you together no matter what.
It's not always a fairy tale, no matter what.
It's not a fairy tale.
Yeah.
No, but as long as that communication is there, and as long as you're willing to be really brave about it, right, and really even lean through that, into that discomfort and have those conversations.
Yeah, and a huge plus for us and for you guys also is that most entrepreneurs are alone.
Yeah.
We have somebody to bounce off
idea,
frustrations, tears.
Hold you accountable to holding you accountable for me is a big one.
Yeah,
because it was all by myself, and I'm not good at a lot. Like, I've learned to be good at certain things when I want to be, but still not my thing, and be better at that, and just realize that strength. I definitely think for us, we for sure got closer. I was never really earlier, I knew we had it, but then I also was like, maybe not, maybe it's better if we're separate. But then, one big thing was, he was in a job that wasn't really going well for him, in the sense of he wasn't getting the needs that he wanted, and so I really wanted that for him. So for him, I remember the conversation we had. It's when we get our first client together, it's gonna be really, really good. And what we did, it was and after that, everything changed, because then it was okay, we did this together, and then again, like you said, it's not always perfect, but it's been fun. It's also been when you get that client, or you work with these these clients that you love, and they're like, oh my God, I love Jeremy, or Chris, or I love that you did this and you did this. It's oh my God, yeah, this is it's not just the financial going to your business, but it's also the love and the feedback that we've gotten from a lot of people. We never really had to come out in the sense of Jeremy got this job and whatever. But people were, the people they told were like, we kind of figured, it was about time. So it was really good. So
you see Jeremy more too. You see Jeremy. I was texting Chris oh my God, he looks so cute, I love him. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been amazing, honestly. First of all, I'm way happier, because I feel like sometimes before this, our energies were at odds, right? Because we just had different demands on us, right? He had demands on his business, and then I had this other external thing that I had to pay attention to, which was my job, which was super demanding. And, I feel like because now we can focus on the same stuff, it's enabled us to really build, right? Not just in the business, in the relationship, in planning our goals together. It's everything else is so much easier when your energies are flowing in the exact same direction, right? Then it just comes to okay, well, it's just little course adjustments instead of two currents separating.
Well, I think what you said, when you have your goals aligned with each other, it's you're going the same way and you're pushing each other the same way. You're not trying to go separate ways or kind of different at the same time.
Yeah.
I think it's that for even relationships that don't work together, right? It could be that you guys do different things, but it's very important to just have goals in mind. I think that's a thing that some relationships are they kind of have to figure it out, and it's a little bit rougher. But when you talk together and you vision together and you have goals together and dreams together and ambitions together, I think for us it grew that way. We wanted the same thing. It's not always as easy as everyone else, but I think it's very important to talk to your partner and say, what do you want? What is it that you really want? And then also, like, as you grow as a partner and also as people, because, like, you know, one thing for Jeremy's, you know, Jeremy's older than my dad, but he's older than I am. And he's taught me a lot, and I've taught him a lot, you know, but we always had the same goals, but then as I got older, and then he got older as well, and we became a unit, then our wants are different. And then it's not just, I want this, I want that. It's like, what do you want? And how are we going to get there, right?
Most couples,
Yeah, that's true.
What's that?
Most couples spend a lifetime trying to get to that place. Like, most people spend so much time trying to get to that place where you're sharing the goals and sharing what you want.
Yeah, it's true. You know, I also feel like this is helping me like truly understand what Chris does, because, you know, I don't know, for when you're sitting outside and you're looking in, you know, obviously you know that doing this kind of work is you know, all consuming, and it takes a lot of time and energy, but it's also really hard to understand process, kind of like, you know, because you see somebody working really hard and kind of stressed out, and then you walk into the event and everything is beautiful and wonderful, and you're like, wow, that must have really been a lot. You know? But I guess I didn't really have, you know, this has really helped me have a lot more empathy for like where that stress comes from, right? Like, how does it get to be that way? And one of the things I feel best about as a partner stepping into this is like, because I know him, I'm able to sort of like, you know, push the steam valve a little bit and let off some of that pressure sometimes, and just be like, hey, you know, I understand this is stressful, but let's take a minute and breathe. You know, and so just being able to be there for him, like not just working together, but also as a partner, I feel like has really helped, you know, sort of the way that he and I are able to go about like actually.
The artiste.
I don't get stressed out too. I do.
Yeah,
but he does the same thing back. Yeah, but, you know,
but I think that's good. Yeah, and you need that. That's good because you need to balance each other out. Because, you know, like I am super like type A, and I want to have everything like really like planned out and scheduled. And I know it's like you need to relax. You need to
I don't have a type.
Yeah, he's like go with the flow, and I'm like I can't go with the flow. I don't know where the flow's gonna take me. I need to know where it's going. So it's like it's good to have that balance for one another.
Yeah. So do you think so quarantine has changed a lot. Now we spend 24/7 together. How has this changed your relationship?
I think, you know, we spent a lot of time together. We've worked together for so many years that we always basically together. I mean, I all go to the goals and he goes to the gym and I do my stuff. But I feel like now it's just, we kind of focused in on like stuff that we wanted to do that we weren't doing because, you know, we were spending time working and we were like doing other stuff. So now we kind of sat down to say, okay, what do you want to do that we haven't done? What classes do you want to do? What do you want to do with your website? Like, you know, how he has this new website, and I finally finished like the stuff that I always wanted to add. So I feel it's kind of made us kind of talk about more about the important stuff that we wanted to talk about in our business and how we want to move forward, because we hadn't really done that in a long time. And this really made us sit down and be like, okay, what do we want moving forward? Like, what's the goal? Like, what's the thing that you're looking forward to when it's done, you know?
And to be honest, a little bit of success in your career or whatever makes you a little bit lazy sometimes. You forget about websites and other stuff that you can focus on all the time. So we were trying to refocus on a lot of stuff that we needed to. We also really made a point of like finding stuff that we both enjoy besides work.
Yeah,
like doing more stuff that we really both enjoy at the same time. We started gardening. We started like a little garden with.
I have basil. I'm so happy.
That's amazing. I'm really jealous. I want to start an herb garden. I keep telling Chris.
It's very rewarding, man.
I thought I was doing this for her. I am like a parent with little kids now. I'm like looking every day. Oh, I grew a little bit. I'm so excited.
It's an inch taller. I'm like, oh my god. Whoa.
I never knew how exciting this was.
Yeah.
So for us, I feel like quarantine has kind of changed everything. What do you think?
I mean, honestly, we were on our way because like we were crash course. Like it was like, all right, we're gonna do this. You know, you're gonna like it was the brunt of like season, like my biggest season. And he's like, you know, we made a decision, hey, like, he's gonna leave his job. And so I was like, all right, well, so it was like, you know, again, sink or swim. And then quarantine happened. And so then it was like, all right, like, we really have to work together now.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, all in all, like, I feel like, I'm honestly, like, quarantine obviously hasn't been a blessing for all of us, right? But there's always a little bit of a blessing in everything, right? And even the most negative of situations. And I feel like with quarantine, it really forced us to really work together, because then it wasn't just like, all right, it's about an event. It's like, what steps are we going to take right now to better this company? What are we going to do to still make money? What are we going to do to, you know, better ourselves, or better, you know, just really work on the things that I can do myself, which is, you know, really stepping up on blogging. And people get it, it's like, boom, all right, like, holding people accountable, went back into it. I saw it, it was awesome too.
You guys are killing it. You really are. Good job.
Yeah, for sure. And then we did the same thing on the website.
If you think about it, it sounds funny, but we have like 2 laps ahead of most people, because we're entrepreneurs. We're used to working from home, figuring it out. Most people are actually have been pushed now to be working from home and figuring it out. We've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
So in a way, for us, it's a little bit not a blessing, but we have more experience trying to figure it out on our own.
Yeah.
So I mean, for us, it's not.
Well, it's good because it's made us push ourselves to another level, because we were already working from home, but now it's how do you work from home without being able to actually go out on weekends and do your job and still be productive and still produce and still bring in money. It's like that's been really the big deal. Like, how do you take yourself to the next level now? You know, yourself to the next level now. You know.
Yeah.
For us, I mean, it was a thing. Like, I mean, I came from working by myself to then having him, and then having him all the time. So it was like very like a crash course. And then I also like, the good thing about our relationship now is I feel like working together, we just know like we're like, all right, so I'm like, we kind of know each other. Like, he's like, I'm gonna leave him alone. And also now he knows, right? He's like, he knows I had a hard time because of whatever situation was. And usually, like, I handle a lot of, you know, our clients directly. So he'll know, he just kind of lets me go on my way. And like for him, I already know, like, hey, what's up, or whatever. Like, so we're kind of working at that. But it was definitely a crash course for us. Like, it was like, it wasn't just like, oh, we work together. It was like, we work together. And then not that. But yeah. And also felt like we worked out together. Like, we used to go to the gym together. We worked out together. So now we work out together. But then we all got to like, we had to like, at one point it was like too much. Like, I just feel like this is me time. And he's like, you don't understand. He goes by his side. So it's been good. I think that's something that everyone should keep in mind as well. Like, you know, it's easier for us to work together. So for those of us who don't work together, I think it's important to kind of like, you know, do your own thing here and there, and just kind of take your time, you know, like instill the things that you do in your relationship on a regular, you know, time in our lives, and we use it for the quarantine, and then also just keep talking about it in the box, right? Because then you welcome that. It's not like, oh, I'm still up late, let's go to the gym. Now it's like, well, I can't go to the gym. Like, what other things can I do? Or what is it that we can do together? It's also like being like, okay, we're in a pandemic, it's okay, we're gonna be agitated, we can't leave house, you know, there's a lot of things going on. But I think the one big thing that I've learned from this, and like his father told me, like, he's like, one thing that you do and then you get really rough, you repeat each other enough. So I think that's something that kind of sticks in their head. You know, of course, we know once we just leave each other alone and calm down and have a time, it's also like, let's talk about this, let's take that as a team, like, this was going on. I'm like, you know what? And then sometimes just by talking about it, you realize you're like, well, of course I feel this way. Like, all I want to do is come are, you know, we're our people, right? You know, we're the people. Is everything's been pushed back. We're not being as creative as we want to be. We're stuck in our homes. And it's all, and not just the holy part being stuck or not working, but it's also all the sadness is going on. You know, it's a very scary time as well.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I feel like, you know, there's been, it's stressful, right? And you know, I don't want to say that quarantine's good, but quarantine does force you to confront a lot of things you may have been sleeping under the rug for a while, right? And I feel like that's kind of what's happened with us. It's like a lot of these things, like, you know, one day we'll organize the sock drawer, you know, like, well, guess what? That's today, you know, and so. But that's been awesome, right? Is to be able to like do that kind of thing too, and that starts with the sock drawer and it goes right up through the business, right up through like, you know, and I'm kind of like, you know, like more of the spreadsheet kind of person. So, but it feels so refreshing to feel like you're actually contributing that, you're bringing that in, right? And to be able to, right? And to sort of
like the black for you.
Has been slap in the face to wake up and like look at yourself honestly, like really honestly, in everything, financials, relationship, work. I mean, if everything that you have in back in your mind that you know you have to do, quarantine has made you, you know what? Now you have to. Now you really need to sit down
I feel
and face it.
Like the excuses are out the door now. Like you don't have that space to be like, oh, you know, when I feel like it or when I have time. Or now it's like, you know, you have no option but to try to stay sane. And for me specifically, the way that I stay just what is it that I want to do that I haven't done and like I want to do it and have to have because I need to keep myself, you know, I suffer from anxiety, so I want to be able to do things to put my mind to doing something because I don't want to be like overstressing or overworking. So to me, doing that and kind of saying, okay, I want to take this class and I want to get my certificate in this and I want to learn to do this. That has been my savior. I feel like that, and it has taken not only my business, but also my personal side to like a whole other step. So, and I feel like that's really been the best thing that I've gotten out of this whole situation.
What about kids? How are you managing children?
We have one. We're done.
We have one.
And done. We don't want any more. Oh, sorry. I got your question.
I say that my daughter is like a hero because I don't know how these kids are dealing with this. You know, it's such a complete change for them with school being virtual now, having to not be able to see their friends, not having that time to like spend with them and have lunch with their friends and talk about their things. You know, she's been like super amazing about it and she's been on point with everything and she's super responsible. But honestly, it's like, it's overwhelming because you have so many schedules. They have so many things at a certain hour and you have to be on point on everything. And it's like, it's been very interesting. And now she like, and also like, we're letting her play a little bit more. She gets to like talk to her friends on FaceTime every day. You know, stuff that we didn't let her do before because we wanted her to be like concentrated in school. Now it's like, you know what? It's fine, you know? And,
that is completely true. She's been electronic. She never. I thought we were too rigid, but I mean, we're having a little more leeway. Like, you know what? Enjoy this day. She's working really hard,
and they need it. Like they need the break. They need the space. You know, they need that thing to like do something else. You know?
And she does. You guys do the videos in her YouTube.
Yeah.
That's started during quarantine or after?
No, during quarantine. Yeah. During quarantine.
Okay, cool.
And now she started doing it. Now
that's really cute.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, she kind of spooked me on something, so I was like, I'm saying that. I mean, you're so quick to do the I mean, Mother's Day was like, it was fun or whatever, but Forever Bride Bouquet was something that I had in my head for a very long time. And what pushed us was, it was No Excuses, and then we did the Mother's Day first, and then it was like, I know, like his mom had said, he was like, oh, so I still don't know how to get one. And I was like, I told you, like, I'm gonna say anything, but I know my mom already. She like, you know, across from me. So I was like, let's do the Forever Bride Bouquet that I had been wanting to do. We'll do it for a mom, and then we'll just do it. Like, just do that. Put money for our moms, and then they get it early, which kind of stuff. But like, you get to know how much it costs to make and into the marketing, whatever.
Yeah.
We actually got some pretty good sales from it, which is awesome. And our moms were like over the moon, but it was like, holy crap. Like at the end of the day, it's like, wow, I did something I wanted to do for so long. And then, again, there's no excuses. It's been pretty awesome. All the kids are mine, though. I have cats.
we have 2 cats who are a little annoying, but it's not the same. It's like I honestly I've heard so much from my friends that do have kids in quarantine, and I think the one sort of big thing that I keep hearing is just like order and structure and boundaries that have just sort of like broken apart, during this whole thing. And it's about like kind of finding that new balance, right? Like, what is it again? Like, how do we get some of that back, where things were before? But, we already talked about there's a real upside too to having all this time together. I mean, like for us in business, like we've had so much time to like do this side project, for example, with the Forever Bride bouquets and the Mother's Day stuff. Like that's not something I think we would have ever taken on. I mean, can you imagine in February when we had 10 weddings, like trying to fit that in and trying to do that? Like, there's no way. So, to be able to take on the side project and to be able to really do the content creation and to be able to like really lean into marketing and PR and circling back around to old brides and getting those reviews and doing all the things that really you should be doing all along. But, but sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, it is.
And then also, having a little bit of extra time. Go ahead.
Especially man, I've been doing it for FaceTime.
Oh yeah, like I started doing my FaceTime sessions because I was like, well, we have to do something. I gotta get creative. I need to use my camera for something because I feel like so like stuck without being able to create. And I started doing them even though I was very scared. Like, I was like, I'm gonna do it. And it's been great for my peace of mind and being able to see other people, talk to other people, even though it's the FaceTime, stuff like that. Like what you do with that, like it's just your mind kind of gets to work and do other stuff, which is really necessary.
But honestly, it's not just that. It's also like we've been like, for example, like cooking like all of our meals, which I know everybody has, which I think for many people is something really different.
I finally had breakfast for dinner. I've never had. And then I was on my list, and you guys posted it. And then I was like, and then this one tried to make it like, like a frittata. And I was like, no, we're gonna have like pancakes, pumpkin pancakes.
Winner.
We had it like 3 times. We did a 4. That was really fun.
Yeah, we did a 4.
I think it's also like for the couples out there, whether you're working together or not, like it's also good to get creative. Like that was a big thing. Like in the beginning, in my head I wasn't going through it. I was like, oh, everything's fine. This will happen. Like it'll pass soon. And he kind of was like, you are going to go crazy. Like, he's like, we need to do something else. And he was like, he already kind of saw that, like, in the morning sometimes I was, like, a little bit irritated. But he knew what it was. He's like, he was supposed to have a wedding this week. And if not, he would have been, working and whatever. And so then, he was more communicative, right? And then when he told me, he was like, listen, you're going to go crazy. That's when I was like, all right. I'm gonna be creative. Let's make a tent. We're gonna have breakfast for dinner. We're gonna, have a party. It was pretty good. It's been nice, so it's been fun.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you've changed?
Something what?
What are some of the things that you've changed? What are some of the good things that have come out of this for you?
Well, definitely now I believe that I'm a baker. Apparently, I'm gonna start a bakery after this is over. I feel like I've been cooking way more, like you guys were saying, like because of course we're in the house and we don't want to be going out, so we've been cooking a lot and baking, and we started the garden. Yeah, I feel like it's all been food stuff. Like I feel like I'm such a foodie that everything has to do with food now. Like my life is surrounded by food. I love it.
These cheeks have to maintain somehow. So food.
Yes, they need
Keep them up there somewhere.
I see people asking for recipes on Instagram, so you're gonna have to post those. You're gonna have to share them.
Send me some and I'm like, well, you gotta buy this and get this.
She's
and
been
that.
getting pictures of people
Yes,
cooking
people
stuff.
send me pictures when they cook it. I'm like, ooh, how fancy! I love it.
So, you know, we have been talking now for about 40 minutes, and it's been awesome. I did want to open things up a little bit for Q&A, both on Instagram and Facebook. You know, Vanessa and Noel are very near and dear to us. They actually were our photographers for our proposal when they first proposed to me. It was over the top. It also got featured on the cover of Style.
The proposal of the proposal of the last decade.
Yes,
I mean, that was
The proposal of Pride Month 2019. So there you go. So courtesy of you and you guys. So
yeah, they have some amazing members.
yeah.
But they're for those of you guys who don't follow them, please do. Their Instagram is amazing. That way, okay. Their work is amazing. For those of you who are LGBTQ plus friendly, they are definitely the ones to go to. If you ever do sneak out my Instagram or their Instagram and look at our personal proposal photos, they're gorgeous. And just all in general. I mean, they're amazing people. They're amazing people to work with. They're super fun. I'm super blessed to have met them early on. And
Yes.
but yeah, I mean, I'm really glad you guys came on. I think that we were talking about who would people to come on and who would talk to, and it's just been you guys are one of the first. I mean, this is what, our third or fourth?
Yeah,
this is the third, I think.
Yeah,
third,
This is the third, and it's let's do a fam more and talk about, and it's super easy. And I was like, all right, let's see, and it's really amazing. I'm so glad that we get to work with you guys and talk to you guys.
So thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been fun.
guys, thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
One last cheers.
One last cheers. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. All right. Have a great night, you guys.
Guys,
You too, be
have a good
safe.
night.
Bye.
Bye.